you don't actually hold your Bitcoin, you hold your keys. I've said for a couple of years now, and I never had a good way to make the mind of the person that doesn't get what I'm saying understand it, that there is no Bitcoin in your wallet. I actually think wallets maybe not a great term to use, but it's the term we have, and there's been a movement to change it. It's not going to happen. Let's accept it. So I think one of the ways to help people understand, well, if my Bitcoin's not in my wallet, what is in my wallet? Your wallet holds your keys. The blockchain holds all the Bitcoin. And I think if people can make that mental shift, a lot of the things that you're talking about or that I talk about or my other guests talk about starts to make a lot more sense. There has to be, because if we're going to call it a wallet, there has to be something in there. Well, it's the keys that are used to sign transactions on the blockchain. All the Bitcoin exists in the blockchain. And again, it doesn't even really exist. It's just there is no Bitcoin in a way. It's just there's a ledger, and Bitcoin is the primary unit of account. And then we break that down into, 100 million Satoshis per Bitcoin, so that we can keep track of which address transacted with what's address. And then we know for a fact that we'll call my address Jack and your address Gabriel, that Jack sent Gabriel 0.25 Bitcoin, and that 2.25 is accounted for. And it can't be duplicated. It can't be Control-C, Control-V. But both of us, all we really hold are keys so that we can make changes on the ledger of the stuff that's on the ledger in our name. And then this is where it confuses people. It's not really in our name. It's we have a particular account, not account number, a particular address that we can modify. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense to me. And I think people need to hear that description of Bitcoin more and more, because, as I said, it's the key to understanding how radical it is. You don't, I talk to, look, I love all the people who are developing things in Bitcoin, and I've interviewed a lot of them on my podcast, and I think it's fantastic. But for example, there is what's called a hardware wallet, right? And this is a physical, it's a physical thing that you have. And it's, in my opinion, it gives the illusion that this thing holds my Bitcoin, right? It's a physical thing, because what people want, they want something real, right? They want something physical. So it gives the perfect illusion that my Bitcoin is in here. And as you said, that's not the case. Your Bitcoin is part of the ledger, which is on all of these nodes around the world. And your wallet is simply giving you these keys in order to kind of point to the blockchain and say, that's my bit. That's my bit. And one of the people I interviewed who makes a hardware wallet said that, I think we shouldn't, you talked about wallets not holding Bitcoin. I don't think we should confuse people. But I think we should tell people the truth, which is that if you have that hardware wallet, that's not, your Bitcoin is not on there. That is, you could destroy that device and still have access to your Bitcoin as long as you have your seed phrase. And so there is an incentive to promote the idea that wallets hold Bitcoin, but there are reasons to avoid that simplicity, because, as I said, if you just remember your seed phrase, you could destroy every wallet you've ever had. You could destroy your hardware wallet. You could destroy your computers. And as long as you have that seed phrase, you can go anywhere in the world and resuscitate your Bitcoin wallet and have access to it. That is the power of the blockchain. It doesn't exist with you. It exists around the world, and you can tap into it anytime you want, as long as you have the private keys.